Well, I guess we knew this day was going to come. Elon Musk is leaving the Trump administration. I do not like this. However, I guess it was time. It was always a temporary arrangement. I really liked what he was doing at DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, and I liked the way he was doing it. We were told a couple of weeks ago by President Trump and by Elon Musk himself that, yeah, at some point he would be moving on, and this is that point. He scaled back his activities. He was working there full time, sleeping in the office and all that stuff. His business started to take a real hit. He scaled back his activities, and now he is totally out. Let's put up the tweet if we have it. Elon Musk posting on his own platform. Let's see, he's got a black circle for the profile picture. As my scheduled time as a special government employee comes to an end, I would like to thank President Donald Trump for the opportunity to reduce wasteful spending. The DOGE mission will only strengthen over time as it becomes a way of life throughout the government. Well, I hope so. You know, there's only one Elon Musk. Elon Musk knocking on some bureaucracy's door. There's nothing like that. The richest and smartest man at the world would like to see your books. That's something. And whoever's going to be running DOGE now doesn't quite have that, no matter how accomplished they are. I think this is one of my favorite moments. Elon Musk holding court with President Trump, also holding court in the Oval Office for hours, really. This is back in February with his little kid there. I think his kid's name is X. And he talked like this gentle philosopher about what he wanted to do and how he wanted to do it. Let's turn up the volume if you can.
Then we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. So it's incredibly important that we close that feedback loop, we fix that feedback loop, and that the public's elected representatives, the President, the House, and the Senate, decide what happens, as opposed to a large, unelected bureaucracy. This is not to say that there are good people who are in the federal bureaucracy, but you can't have an autonomous federal bureaucracy. You have to have one that is responsive to the people. That's the whole point of a democracy. And if you looked at this, if you looked at the founders today and said, what do you think?
Isn't that beautiful? Just that little snippet right there. A bureaucracy, democracy. I never thought of it as a cracy, right? Bureaucracy, we've all heard that, but a bureaucracy is a government where the bureaucrats are in control. And we've had that for a long time, and we're getting away from it, and he was helping to make it happen. And he said during that same, he said the keys are two things, competence and caring. You see those words. How could anybody object? But wow, did they object. The hard left went hard against him. And even just Democrats in general, burning his Teslas. And when I say Democrats in general, well, Democrats refuse to condemn it. I remember late night comedians making jokes about this. You know, you compare this carnage to January 6th, right? The horns guy and what? That was the worst thing that ever happened. What about this stuff? Elon Musk, the one and only. I loved how Donald Trump had a peer. You know, he really seemed to have a peer, someone who was on his level. And let's not forget that Elon Musk, you know, in addition to the work on DOGE, he helped get President Trump elected. That was huge. His endorsement and the way he campaigned and the way he donated, what was it, $250 million, something like that. And how did the world pay him back? Well, his business took a real hit. I guess his popularity went down, right? Suddenly he was, a demon in the eyes of those who used to buy his cars. I think he's incredibly special. And President Trump, incredibly special to pick somebody like Elon. Not everybody would do that. Not everybody would do that as president, right? Sharing the limelight with somebody like that. President Trump has the confidence to do that. Here he is a couple of weeks ago. This day had to come. We knew it was going to happen. And President Trump spoke about that I think this is like 2 months ago.
Just so you understand, I don't want to get it wrong. I want Elon to stay as long as possible. Number one, I like him. Number two, he's doing a great job. Number three, he is a patriot. That's why he's doing this. And he's, it's very costly for him.
I want him to stay as long as he wants. And, well, maybe he'll be back someday. What he started is really, really important, this Doge thing. I just don't think it's going to be the same Doge without Elon Musk. Again, the bureaucracy will not respect, will not be intimidated, and you need a little bit of an intimidation factor. Although, of course, we got President Trump at work on this stuff as well, and he's the man who made all of this happen. So, all right, Elon Musk, thank you very much for a job well done and letting us see more about you. I never really thought of him that much. He was the richest guy in the world, and he was the Tesla guy. Oh, and the rockets. And the rockets. I heard somebody say the other day, he's like a modern-day Einstein, and he's one of us. He's MAGA, and that's awesome. Elon Musk, thank you for a job well done. We'll be watching all of your magnificent accomplishments, which I assume will be the moon and Mars. Boy, would I like to go. All right. Now this. A slap in our face. Did you hear this guy? He is the outgoing Capitol Police chief, right? They put him in charge after January 6th to clean up the department. I don't think he really did that. Seems like he just kind of gave a seal of approval to the ridiculous and awful response on January 6th by his own police department, blaming everybody else. Not really getting to the bottom of it, perhaps not wanting to get to the bottom of it. This man is retiring, and like a lot of bureaucrats, I'm going to call him a bureaucrat, they get their guts, right? They get their mojo when they're about to retire. And now that he's retiring, his name is Thomas Manger. He takes a shot at President Trump. I don't like it, and actually this kind of talk is dangerous. Remember, he's unelected, he carries a gun, and he has a very significant post in our government.
That was probably one of my worst days in this job. I think sent a chilling message to every police officer in this country that, you can be involved in some massive public disorder event, and that you could have a politician later on decide that, well, I liked what this side was doing, so we're going to pardon all these people.
Yeah, watch your mouth, cop. What are you talking about, some politician? He is objecting to President Trump exercising his constitutional authority and carrying out, fulfilling a campaign promise to pardon the unfairly persecuted and prosecuted January 6ers. And that civil servant bureaucrat dares call President Trump a politician? Some politician just does that because he likes what happened on January 6th? President Trump never actually said that, pal, all right? He objected and he pardoned because of the over-prosecution. And also, like a lot of us, he has questions as to what really happened that day. What the hell was the FBI doing there? And didn't we go a little bit over the top, putting some of these people in the gulag, the American gulag? And those who had never committed a violent crime in their life, even on my friend Christopher Cuny, a hero, Marine, Iraq War veteran, never did anything wrong in his life. The FBI sent the damn SWAT team there to his house. Are you kidding me? And a tank in the front and a tank in the back. Now, why did they do that? Because they wanted to cancel not only President Trump, but they wanted to tarnish his movement, his people, MAGA, forever. Thank God they failed. A slap to all of us, really. This is a slap in the face. He says, well, I want to go back to the chief for a moment. It's kind of funny.
A slap in the face to every police officer that was here.
Yeah, he says, he's saying this on the way out the door, right? A slap in the face to every police. You know, sorry, you really should not talk about the police who were there on January 6th. You guys failed big time, and some of you may have been complicit, and I got the proof, all right? And you haven't even provided the answers. You're not even curious enough to ask the questions. Who is this cop waving people on? Step right up to the Capitol. It's this way. Why were these guys just standing there waiting for people to come in? Next video, please. There they are. Welcome to the Capitol. Step right there. The rotunda's to your right. Hello, hello, hello. And then, of course, 3 of your guys decided to take a coffee break right about the time the crowd was going to go nuts. Hey, guys, let's go over here. Da-dup, 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 da-dup. There they go. And all hell breaks loose. And you know what's going to happen next, right? Michael Byrd shows up with his gun, and the cops duck. Watch that. They're ducking. They duck. And Ashley Babbitt gets shot by Byrd while they duck. They could have saved Ashley Babbitt's life. But they didn't, did they? Oh, man, this is so bad. This is so ugly. And the chief, Manger, making this noise on the way out the door. Why don't you find out who these guys were and give him some first aid lessons? The cops who dragged Ashley Babbitt neck first down the steps, right? She was wounded in the neck. You elevate the wound, right? Hello? You see any problem with that? You know what they made us? Animals. They treated us like animals. MAGA. You may also be familiar that because of this wrongful death, and thank God for President Trump, it appears that there may be a wrongful death settlement between the Department of Justice, the government, and the Babbitt family. Reports that it will be nearly $5 million, which is probably on the low side when it comes to these wrongful death suits these days. But I think I think this should definitely happen, don't you? Now, Granger didn't. These guys are way too politically active. They got to stay in their lane. The chief of police came out with this statement when he got wind of this, how upset he was. I am extremely disappointed and completely disagree with the Department of Justice's decision to settle a lawsuit involving a woman who attacked the U.S. Capitol. Number one, she did not attack the U.S. Capitol, all right? She didn't do that. You don't have evidence of that. In fact, here she is. Here's Ashley Babbitt on January 6th, walking through the Capitol Rotunda, obeying the rules, walking right through the aisle there. I think we have that video. Go ahead and press play. It's fascinating. Ashley Babbitt wasn't doing anything wrong. There she is. Wait. Yep. You see that sign's kind of hanging off her back? Does she look like she's attacking anybody or anything? She wasn't. What else did this Ranger, I can't get his name straight, Manger. The U.S. Capitol Police's internal investigation determined that the law enforcement officer's conduct was lawful and within department policy. Yes, oh great. Internal Affairs strikes again. Do we have another one? While illegally inside the building, she disregarded the orders of police to stay out of the speaker's lobby. There's no evidence of that, actually. I just showed you the evidence of the cops ducking. This settlement is insulting to every officer who protected the Capitol on January 6, 2021, and those who feared for their life on that dark day. When did these guys, it's the only police department in the country that talks like this. And I don't know why that is. It's the only police department I know where they allow their members to roam around the Capitol with guns, attempting to intimidate members. Yeah, here they are, the Capitol cops. Remember these guys? And they're yelling and screaming about politics. You're not allowed to do that. You're not.
It's confounding that some people who have sworn off elected officials, including people in the military that I seen at the lower stairs fighting against me, they sworn off and they forgetting about that oath. They're not putting the country before the party. And that's what bothers me the most.
I use an analogy to describe what I want as a hitman. If a hitman is hired and he kills somebody, the hitman goes to jail. But not only does the hitman go to jail, but the person who hired them does. There was an attack carried out on January 6th, and a hitman sent them.
I really, you feel like
wow.
we didn't have the support from the president.
It goes on like this for hours, all right? While they're in the department, while they're out of the department. It's crazy. You don't let cops who work in Congress, you quit. Quit the Congress and go run for office or something.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.